Hello everyone, my name is Berghmans, and today we are going to talk about how business succession planners can ensure ethical behavior within the succession process. Now, most people in family firms have genuinely good intentions, and relationships within these firms are often built on a high level of informal trust. Nevertheless, family businesses are not immune to ethical challenges. In fact, ethical issues can arise even when everyone involved is acting with the best intentions. For example, we often see in those family firms that there is some sort of information hoarding just out of habit or tradition, unconscious favoritism towards a certain family member, or decision making that prioritizes personal relationships over objective business considerations. And these issues are rarely the result of malicious intent. Instead, they often emerge naturally from the overlap between family dynamics and business responsibilities. And don't get me wrong here, good intentions are a valuable starting point and are in fact needed for ethical decision making. But lasting ethical behavior, especially in these larger families or firms, requires structures that consistently support and reinforce those intentions. And if we are talking about the architecture needed to make ethical decisions within the succession process, we can identify three pillars or layers if you want. First, we have the foundations, in which we are going to define the shared moral rules. Second, we will need structured walls that compartmentalize family emotions from business strategy. And third, we will need a safety system that holds all of this together. Now, the first pillar of this architecture is the family constitution, and this is really the foundation of the family firm. So this isn't just a piece of paper, it's really a shared vision for the future. And it will therefore include a vision and a mission from a family point of view for the firm. It will also include the core business. So what are we going to do as a firm? In which industries are we going to be active? And in which industries or which industries are we going to avoid? And it will also include family values. And ideally, it will also include some conflict resolution mechanisms. And by writing down these things for the family and the business, before a transition gets heated, we prevent those ad hoc or emotionally driven decisions that often lead to ethical trouble later on. So it's really about creating a shared moral compass for everyone involved. Now, one of the most important parts of a family constitution can be the entrance criteria. So, because one of the biggest ethical traps in family business is favoritism or nepotism. And to fix this, we need clear entry and promotion criteria. So we are now talking about objective standards, things like specific degrees or required work experience outside the family firm, and so on. And this protects the business by ensuring we choose successors based on competence, and it in fact will also protect the family by making sure every candidate feels the process was fair. Once your foundation is ready, you can look on how you can tackle ethical confusion. Now, ethical confusion often happens when family drama leaks into business strategy, and this is something you really don't want. That's why we recommend formal governance bodies, especially in larger family firms. And you have two common formal governance bodies. A first one is a family council. A family council will not only handle the family strategy, but may also deal with sensitive emotional and relational issues within the firm. Meanwhile, the board of directors can stay laser focused on the business strategy. Keeping these two worlds separate is a key way to ensure that decisions remain professional and transparent. Now, we often say that when no one is watching, people or groups of people are more prone to slip up. That's why bringing in independent non-family members to boards is so critical. These outsiders have several advantages, but from an ethical point of view, provide a neutral perspective that can challenge assumptions and intervene if they see unethical behavior taking place. They will act as a set of objective eyes that a family business often lacks internally. In practice, we see that business succession planners try to introduce them more commonly in boards of directors, but they can also be part of a family council. And this independent member of a board of directors brings us directly to the last layer, and this is the layer of the four eyes principle that will in fact safeguard everything we have discussed. And this four eyes principle is simple but very powerful. It's a rule that states that no major decisions should be made by just one person. Every significant move in the succession process should be reviewed by at least two individuals. This naturally identifies personal biases and forces everyone to justify their reasoning out loud, which is one of the best defenses we have against unethical choices, both willingly and unwillingly. To conclude this presentation, I would like to return to where we started, the building blocks of the governance architecture that support ethical decision-making throughout the business succession process. At its foundation lies the family constitution, which establishes the shared values, principles, and the rules that guide both the family and the business. Building on this foundation, the Family Council and the Board of Directors help ensure that the family's heritage and the company's operations are managed responsibly and ethically. In addition, the four eyes principle serves as an important safeguard, ensuring that no individual can make significant decisions without appropriate oversight and review. It is important to emphasize that these structures can greatly reduce risks and promote ethical behavior, but they can never ever guarantee that mistakes will not occur. Good governance provides guidance and accountability, yet ethical leadership and sound judgment will always remain essential. With that, we come to the end of this presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you every success in applying these insights to real-life succession challenges.